Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View. I'm back. I have with me today Carmen, Jan, and Mary. And we're going to talk about a few things today. Later on, we have a guest who's an author who wrote a book, How to Feel Good and How Not to. So that could be interesting. We'll see how that goes. But first, we're going to take a look at some of the topics that were on the View this morning so we can give our view. They began with talking about Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who on Tuesday formally recognized Joe Biden as the incoming president-elect 6 weeks after the November election. And he said that the Electoral College has spoken. McConnell said, and he said this morning, our country has officially a president-elect and a vice president-elect. I want to congratulate President-elect Joe Biden. And let's take a look at a clip of Harris talking about this moment in history.
I think people are going to be very encouraged to hear what you said, that Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden have spoken. He has acknowledged that he is the president-elect.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is?
I think it's critically important. I applaud Mitch McConnell for talking to Joe Biden today. You know, it would have been better if it were earlier, but it happened, and that's what's most important. And so let's move forward. Let's move forward, and where we can find common purpose and common ground, let's do that. Let that be our priority.
Sounds nice, right? What do you think?
Just American apple pie right there. Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's interesting to me that all of the clips are either, they're never Joe. I mean, very few are Joe when they're coming down to what the policies are going to be, how they're going to operate, all the stuff. It's either a headline and there's no interview with Joe, or they put Kamala up there. That ought to be a red flag for this whole nation. I mean, if you're the president-elect, aren't you out there? I mean, you're building your rapport with the American people. You are on it. You are setting up your presidency. Instead, we're not seeing that, and that's not a good thing as far as I'm concerned. And Kamala, you know, we're going to find the common ground and the common purpose. But honey, you want us to be a socialist, communist country. I don't know how we unite around that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm wondering if the nation is unitable at this point, because the division is so far, it's spread so wide, and the points that each side are making seem to be ones that will continue to divide us. I know that when Joy was kind of musing a little bit about Mitch McConnell, she had indicated that she couldn't find anyone who was a criminal profiler to tell whether he was sincere or not. That's a little bit telling to me. She accused him of being like the Georgian Republicans who are Trump supporters, that they can't get enough of the Trump bashing even after the election. Just kind of appalls me, really.
Really funny. So perhaps Harris needs to look at her own words in a sense, because she said, can't we just move on? Well, Kamala Harris, can't you move on? You haven't even resigned from the Senate yet. You haven't put in your resignation, so there must be just a little bit of your doubt in your mind. You don't have confidence that perhaps you aren't going to be the vice president of the United States. That's the one thing that sticks out in my mind. She hasn't even resigned from the Senate, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Everybody else would have. And I have other news for you, Kamala. You guys are not the president-elect and vice president-elect. That doesn't even happen until January 6th. When they start using the word president-elect, that is done by the media. It has nothing to do. That is just the media giving them a title. They are not the president-elect and vice president-elect until January 6th, if it even happens at that point.
Yep. And, you know, Jan, you said something about the Trump bashing, and it just doesn't end. And, you know, the gal that's named Anna on The View this morning, she was saying, you know, and the stupid Trump minions that are in the Senate, that are out there in the public, they're moronic, they're un-American, they're stupid. And it's like, that's enough. That is enough. Don't bring Kamala on your show and say how we're going to unite and we're going to move on and we're going to find common ground, and yet you sit there and you continue to belittle over 74 million voters. That's just so wrong. If you want a united message, you better get started.
Right. And Kamala is so smug when she talks too. It's
Right.
just so smug and just so condescending. It's just infuriating, and I pray that I don't have to listen to that for the next 4 years. So
Well, I think
Well, I'm gonna
Sarah
keep
was
going.
also kind of condescending, just like Harris, where she said that the Trump voters were the low-hanging fruit.
Right.
You know, one thing we're united on is that Trump won, excuse me, Trump got 11 million more votes than he did last time when he was elected, 74 million. So we agree on that. But to continue the Trump bashing when there are 74 million people that voted for him, that's not a uniting statement. And I don't know, I'm not seeing any uniting at this point. I want to move on though to this clip. They talked about Tom Cruise is making his 7th, what is it? What's that movie?
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible number 7. And he didn't like, I don't know if it was somebody not wearing masks probably, but he had a big freak out on the set that everybody gave him a free pass at the View. They said, oh, it's okay, it's understandable. So let's listen to that.
I don't ever want to see it again, ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. That's it. No apologies. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down.
I have a little insight. My husband, Mark, actually played poker with Tom Cruise in Whitefish at Grouse Mountain Lodge. He was in the news back then in radio reporting. And I didn't blame Tom Cruise for getting irritated because Mark had a tape recorder under something, and because he wouldn't do interviews, so he's playing poker with Tom Cruise, and Tom got mad and laughed like, okay, fine. But the next morning we looked out our window and there was Tom Cruise with Emilio Estevez throwing his suitcase and luggage all around outside his car because he was mad about something. So this isn't just a COVID-related tantrum. But what is interesting is that one of the hosts said, you know what, you don't talk to adults that way. That's not right. And then the second one said, well, I was going to say that the second one said, no, this is COVID. This is serious. He was right to act that way. So then the third host said, oh, I was going to say it was wrong, but you know what? You're right. So wait a minute. They're saying if it's COVID, you don't have to treat people with respect if you're angry about COVID. So this is a little ridiculous. What do you guys think?
I think Tom Cruise became irrelevant in the 90s. I thought he made some really awesome movies in the 80s.
Right.
I haven't really watched him since. He got into that Scientology that just is a little bit out of my realm, and I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, so it bothers me not. It doesn't surprise me that he behaved that way. He's a celebrity, he can.
Well,
Yes.
I think that every human being gets to the point of anger where they are going to say an expletive to show emotion, to show emphasis, and once or twice you give them a pass. But this is chronic with this dude.
Yeah, and what bothers me is that so many people gave him a pass because it was COVID. If it was something else, then it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll be talking with author, no, we're not. I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself. We will be talking with author John Mark Miravalli. But next, we're going to talk about a couple other things from The View when we come back on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
For the greatest selection and full menu offering is the Four Seasons Restaurant and Ice Cream Parlor in Garrison. Succulent sandwiches, big breakfasts served all day, and delicious desserts. Easy access in and out for campers and RVs. The Four Seasons Restaurant at the top of Main Street, Garrison.
Are you a thrill seeker, sightseer, or day tripper? The Ford Bronco Sport SUV is built for you. Four Bears Casino is giving away a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport loaded with a ton of interior space, safari-style roof, smooth suspension for any terrain, and easy-to-clean surfaces. Qualify now just by playing your favorite slots at Four Bears Casino. Double points on Sundays. Also get in on Super Senior Wednesdays, slot turning Thursdays, and hot seats on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Spin into Four Bears Casino and Lodge for chances to win.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. During the last segment, we have a few more comments that we want to make about uniting this country and what is it possible and what kind of things are being foreshadowed already as far as what kind of administration we're going to have.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Sarah had said, you know, can Joe and Kamala unite the parties? If anyone can, they will. And my first thought was, you know what, Joe, you've been talking now for 47 years, and your talk is so loud, your actions are so loud, I can't hear your words. Because what did he get done when he was in Washington all those years? I mean, you can't even hardly find a bill that he sponsored. It's just ridiculous that he's going to be a big uniter, as far as I'm concerned.
And come out of that being a billionaire.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Who makes, millions and billions of money while you're in a government position? That's
after
alarming.
all, he's on the cover of Time now, so we ought to just, go with it.
They had also said, Whoopi had said, she goes, he's lost and no one's going to snatch this presidency from Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So it's like they're already putting Kamala ahead of him, and I really think that there's just so many questions that need to be answered if this presidency takes place. But I'm not. I don't know. I'm going to zip myself.
I think that was a gaffe. I think that they know what's coming, and they are going to just dribble it in little by little so that we get used to hearing it. They talked about CDC whistleblowers. They said the CDC has people inside that Trump is manipulating, and just to give us an incorrect message that that administration is telling the CDC what to tell Americans and that it's full of dangerous lies. And of course, she had zero evidence to back up anything she was talking about.
Of course.
It's all fluff.
Well, that's interesting, Jan, because supposedly Trump was, telling everybody what to do, and he was being accused of being a dictator oftentimes.
Right.
So in a dictatorship, you tell people what to do. And their next segment, they talked about mandating the vaccinations. That sounds like telling people what to do and dictating. Let's watch this clip where Whoopi Goldberg talked about a little bit about the mandating and masks and what's going on with COVID.
Well, I would like to put this out before we leave. You know, there was a thing held in California a few days ago or yesterday where people came out to sing Christmas carols, and it was sort of done because they said, well, you know, California doesn't want you to celebrate Christmas, but I found it really disheartening that the people who set this up thought it was more important to make their point about singing Christmas carols to give the middle finger to the state of California than to protect the little kids who were there at this thing. No one had on a mask, by the way, and there were lots of little kids there. So it was more important to make your point your finger and say, you know, how dare you tell us what to do? Well, put a damn mask on, because, you know, I'm sick of talking about your rights. Let's talk about my rights. My rights are as important to me as yours are to you. I don't want to get sick. Put a bloody mask on, man.
Oh, no way.
So I didn't want to, they were talking about mandating the vaccine, and it kind of morphed into masks, but the two go hand in hand. Because they were saying, boy, look what happened. A lot of people complained about the masks. I can only imagine what's going to happen with the vaccines. Therefore, we need to mandate it, and they were supporting that employers should be able to say, you can't come to work here unless you have the vaccination. What do you think about that?
Well, then after that, of course, they had to throw in anyone who refuses to get this vaccination. I am sick and tired of the babies in this country. And all of a sudden now we're the babies because anybody who stands up and says, no, I don't believe that I should be mandated to take this vaccine and I'm not going to do it, that makes me a baby because I'm not cooperating. And it morphs right into their other theme today was starting to set up socialism and how it's not a bad thing. And we already have it woven into our fabric already. So it's not a big leap if we just go a little further. That was really the message underneath the verbs that they were using. But, you know, it all hooks together, you know. Study up on socialism. It will be incremental or it will be just a big boom. But there we are, and they're saying companies ought to mandate that their workers have to be vaccinated or they will be out of a job. And they think that's legal, and they think if it's not, it should be. And where is this taking our country and our freedoms? And I think people really need to think about it. Maybe there's people out there who really, really, really believe in the vaccines and they really want to get the vaccine and they wish everybody would, and you know, they don't want grandma to die and all this stuff. But think about where this leads. I think we have to put on our big picture hats and really think this through.
I agree. And I am a little bit fearful that they think that all of us need to take responsibility for their health. Since when am I responsible for what you do with your health? If I'm responsible for your health by having to take a vaccine or a mask or whatever, then am I also responsible to take the Cheetos out of your shopping cart, to take the Coca-Cola or the Pepsi-Cola away from you, to have you eat more greens and get enough rest and take your vitamin C? I just think that mandating it is not the way to go, that if we want to talk rights, people should have the right to decide their own health care, who administers it, and to what degree.
I agree with you, but legally, a company can mandate it.
Understood.
And that's the sad part. And then we have to decide, too, in the future, are airlines going to mandate it? Are other countries that we want to travel to, are they going to mandate it? Do you have to show proof of vaccination in order for you to travel to another state? Now, we travel with our horses to different rodeos in the Midwest here, and we have to take with us a certificate that they have been vaccinated against certain diseases. And so they do it for livestock already. Our cattle have to have proof that they've been vaccinated before they cross a state line. And in fact, this is what bothered me during the DAPL protest. There were loads and loads of lumber coming in from Oregon and Idaho that had bugs and diseases in it. So if there's already rules against livestock and firewood, I just think it's coming, and it's a scary thought because we don't even know if this vaccine is survivable. We have to have a 5 or a 10-year study to see if we'll even survive taking the vaccine. It's just way too new for anything for me.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me is it's one thing showing that your animals were vaccinated. It's another thing when it's your body. And it really disturbs me that there's so many people that say, yeah, you have to mandate this. But that I just think that is really infringing on individual rights. And to say that if you don't want to do it, then stay home and make sourdough bread in your underwear. We don't care about you.
And so I did. Yeah.
And they also said, somebody also said, we gave people the chance to do the right thing on their own, and they didn't do it. Therefore, we have to mandate you will do what we want, or it's not the right thing. So, okay, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we have an author, John Mark Miravalli, who's going to talk about how to feel good and how not. So we'll be right back on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here are terrific. We enjoy it.
They say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. At OK Tire, we're here to keep you going. From Firestone tires and replacements to retreads and even Firestone tracks, we have you covered. Our certified Firestone experts are ready to get you back up and running, no matter if you're on site or in the field, saving you time and money. OK Tire, we keep the tough going.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best-built, best-backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. And we have a guest to join us today, John Mark Miravalli. He's an associate professor of moral and systematic philosophy at Mount St. Mary's in Emmitsburg, Maryland. Welcome to the show, John Mark.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
So just so that the viewers understand, he's not just sitting in the car because he's really, really cool and just pulled over. This is his only way he can get on Zoom right now. They're in the midst of a snowstorm out in Maryland, and they're expecting 18 inches, right?
That's what I was told. I didn't look it up, but that's what I was told. It's a bunch. Nobody's driving right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, This is really heroic. Thank you.
This could be the last footage of me that anyone ever sees. So you want to share
Well,
it.
so when
Make
the
it a good
police-
one then.
Yeah.
Make it a good one.
That's right.
Well,
right.
yeah, if you have any last messages, now would be the time then, right?
Yeah, no, I told my kids I loved them before I left, so we're good.
Okay, all right, so you're good. You're good. So we're going to talk about your book, How to Feel Good and How Not to. And the subtitle is The Ethics of Using Marijuana, Alcohol, Antidepressants, and Other Mood-Altering Drugs. Now, just so that everybody knows, this isn't about whether to legalize or not legalize anything. This really is a kind of like a personal inventory and taking a look at what does it mean? Why am I doing this? Am I accomplishing my goal? And you really are trying to get, using philosophy, you're trying to get at like what are you doing to be happy? And is it helping you to be happy, or is it taking away from that? So let me start with my first question. What's the difference between taking a drug to feel good as opposed to taking one to stop feeling bad?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, and again, based on your lead-in, my main goal is not to sort of settle policy issues, but to see what helps human beings to thrive. So here's the basic principle. If you're trying to stimulate a human experience chemically, it's not reliable. So for instance, let's say a guy sees a girl at a bar and he says, you know, I don't find you very attractive yet, but wait till I've had about 6 beers and I will really appreciate your beauty. She will not trust any drug-induced aesthetic appreciation he may come to experience, right? Because she knows that he would not be responding to her beauty, but simply to the chemical coursing through his system. So anytime that you take a drug to try to induce a full human experience, that experience is suspicious, it's suspect, it's false, it's not reliable. On the other hand, so that's why I don't think you should take drugs for the sake of chemically manipulating a good feeling. On the other hand, if you have a feeling that's already out of control, you might need to take something, or you might need some help bringing that feeling back into reasonable limits, right? That's true, for instance, on basic pain medication. Maybe your mouth hurts, and maybe it should hurt because there's something wrong with your tooth. But if you don't, let's say, take certain medication to palliate the pain, you won't be able to do any surgery to really address the root problem. So that's why I think there's a very important moral distinction between recreational use, which I think is bad news, and therapeutic use, which can be legitimate.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I want to say to the viewers while we're talking, we have 2 books at the Rainbow Shop. We're going to put it in Bismarck, the Rainbow Shop Parables Christian Bookstore. If you want to enter a contest to try to win one of these books, you can email us at anotherview@becknews.com. And we're going to put this up on the screen again later on. But you can enter. We'll email you back if you win, and then the copy of your book will be at the Rainbow Shop in Bismarck, and they have other copies too. So even if you don't win and you think this is an interesting discussion, you can go ahead onto the Rainbow Shop. There we go. That's what it looks like, so you don't get lost. And you can go ahead and either pick up a book, or maybe you might win. Okay, so I want to continue this discussion, and we have other questions we'd like to ask.
Yeah, so even though you're addressing, drugs and alcohol, don't people do the same things with like food or overeating, porn, gambling? There's many different ways you can...
Shopping.
Yeah, shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anytime you try to get so let me give a general principle on pleasure. Pleasure is the experience that you should have when you are resting in something authentically good. So anytime that you're trying to get pleasure from something that's not authentically good, that's really selling yourself short, and it's selling your emotions short. Our feelings are important, and they're meant to respond to objective reality, just like all our human faculties are. So shopping, fine. Pornography, not fine, right? Because that's not responding to a real good. That's not responding to something that is helping you to appreciate the real world and the real good that is appropriate for you. So yeah, people use all kind of disordered stimulants to make themselves feel good about something that's not really good. And that should be avoided.
That's interesting because I love to shop, and I had 4 kids in 4 years. And my husband always asked me why I have to go shopping. And I said, well, my clothes don't talk back to me. They speak to me. And we used to make fun of it because every time the kids would make me upset on a very high level, I'd get a new pair of boots. And so I can honestly say that I have 2 closets overflowing with boots, and I don't think I have a problem.
You know, don't worry. You can have my copy of the book, Mary, when we're done, and we'll just see. You can decide later if you have a problem or not.
We haven't even talked about beer yet, and I'm getting a book.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, it's a great point, right? Because one of the problems of the human condition is the things that should cause us to feel delight often don't, right? Like my kids, right? I'll come home from work and I will have to be very disciplined, or the table, right? The table, everybody says eating together is supposed to be this wonderful thing. Oh my gosh, it takes so much mental discipline for me to delight in my children at the dinner table. I have to really focus on their goodness to let them see my delight in them. And that's just hard. It just takes a lot of work. It's not natural to fallen creatures.
John Mark, I didn't mention that you have 6 children, so that might explain why you got to be a little disciplined and focused at the dinner table. And what are their ages?
So I have, let's see, that's a great question. I have 13 a boy, almost 11 a boy, 9 a girl, 6 a girl, 3 a boy, and 3.5 months a boy. So I got 2 plain and 4 peanut.
Okay.
2 girls, 4 boys.
So they bring you a lot of joy, but you have to be disciplined to really soak that joy in.
I have to focus on their goodness. Otherwise, it's easy to lose sight of.
Okay.
Well, John Mark, I just want to say thank you. I did get a chance to read almost all of the book. Yeah. And the good part, I thought, was that it caused me to think more deeply about a lot of things. One of the things that I was wondering about is the moral distinction between casual marijuana and casual alcohol.
Yeah, very good. So my earlier book was on beauty. And beauty is delight in an external object due to its orderly and surprising character. Now, there's a big difference, I think, between the way most people use recreational marijuana and the way my friends and I use alcohol. When my friends come over, I say, would you like coffee? Would you like wine? Would you like a beer? And I say these, I don't say, listen, would you like how many cc's of vodka would you like, right? Because I'm not trying to help them chemically manipulate their mood. I'm trying to give them a good which they will celebrate as a good because it's delightful, because it's tasty, because it's nourishing. If someone were to say, listen, I'd like coffee, but I've had a bad day, could you maybe give me 6 shots first? I think that would be a drug recreational use of alcohol because they would be trying to chemically manipulate their brain for a good feeling.
Makes sense.
Okay, well, we have more questions for you, and I hope you're still okay in your car through one more segment. So we're talking with John Mark Mirror Valley. We're going to be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Howdy folks, it's the County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hay Bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a comb roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the County Line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve. Through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
For the greatest selection and full menu offering is the Four Seasons Restaurant and Ice Cream Parlor in Garrison. Succulent sandwiches, big breakfasts served all day, and delicious desserts. Easy access in and out for campers and RVs. The Four Seasons Restaurant at the top of Main Street, Garrison.
Are you a thrill seeker, sightseer, or day tripper? The Ford Bronco Sport SUV is built for you. Four Bears Casino is giving away a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport loaded with a ton of interior space, safari-style roof, smooth suspension for any terrain, and easy-to-clean surfaces. Qualify now just by playing your favorite slots at Four Bears Casino. Double points on Sundays. Also get in on Super Senior Wednesdays, slot turning Thursdays, and hot seats on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Spin into Four Bears Casino and Lodge for chances to win.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. And we've been talking about how to feel good and how not to, a book by John Mark Miravalli. And he is actually stranded on the side of the road in his car right now doing this interview. So that's how important this is.
It's crucial.
Yeah, so thank you so much. We can kind of see the snow through the window. And amazing that you thought our interview was important enough that you're still in your car and trying to talk to us on Zoom. So, okay, we're going to continue the discussion. We have a lot more questions on how to feel good and how not. And this is really kind of a personal inventory. Not you trying to impose morality on people, but just to kind of take a look at your own life.
Right. And I'm going to kind of veer off that a little bit because one of the things I was seeing in your book, you talked more, you did, visit the whole psychedelic drug piece and the mysticism of it and everything. And, knowing that became a really big deal back in the 60s and it's kind of hung on, it's kind of getting a resurgence now, it seems. Do you think that has done a lot to usher in a lot of the mysticism, the Eastern religions, some of that type of thing into our society? Or do you not see a whole lot of carryover in that?
No, I think they're called entheogens, right? The psychedelics, the heavy stuff, to sort of signify that people are trying to again manipulate a mystical experience. They're trying to force contact with God, and they're calling it. Some of them are calling it the true religion, and some of these are professional therapists who are using these heavy drugs. So I think I read a wonderful piece by Pope Benedict XVI before he was Pope, where he said, drugs is a protest against the world of unspiritual facts. In other words, people are simply not happy in a world without God. And so they become increasingly desperate for some way of feeling the transcendent. And certainly the drug culture has always had and continues still to have that kind of pseudo-mysticism. Because again, people need it. People need to feel joy and they need to feel contact with higher things. Unfortunately, I believe the drugs is a bogus substitute for those real needs.
Right.
Well, I was wondering a little bit kind of off a deep end maybe, but it's where my mind went when I was reading the book. You had mentioned that if there's ever a biochemical imbalance found, that it should be no surprise that psychological states have physiological correlation. But it kind of sounded to me, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you thought that there really was not a biophysical element to emotion. But I was thinking, couldn't a chemical deficiency change how you respond to a stressor or an event, and kind of by helping correct that deficiency that you could maybe manage things like depression?
Yeah, that's a great question. So all our feelings are a combination of both soul and body. The feelings are fascinating because it's really where our spiritual side and our animal side come together. So I'll give you two examples. One is where what happens at the intellectual spiritual level impacts the body, and another where what happens at the body impacts the spiritual level. So let's start with the first. Fear of public speaking. You're not afraid of a material threat, right? You're not afraid that if you do a bad job speaking, the audience is going to bite you or deny you food or shelter. But a lot of Americans are very scared when they give a public speech. And that fear, which comes from a sort of rational spiritual fear of shame or of reduction or of embarrassment, that has physical manifestations, right? Like your hands shake, right? Or your palms get sweaty. So that's where you have a fear that sort of starts in the soul and ends in the body. But you have other experiences, passions, feelings that start in the body and end in the soul. Like my kids, when they're real little, they sit on the toilet too long and their feet go to sleep, and they have no idea what is happening, but it freaks them out. They'll start screaming, my feet, there's something wrong, I can't feel. So something will happen in the feet and end up at this very rational terror. So what that means is you're absolutely right. There are always a physical and a spiritual component to every feeling, because that's what makes us human. The question is, where does it start? Because that will help us determine how to treat it. And we don't just want to reduce every experience to something with a physical cause.
Makes sense.
That makes sense. You know, after I had my 4 kids and they were still young, I had a little bit of postpartum depression. Yeah. And I had been given a couple antidepressants. And honestly, the one of them, when I went to sleep, my dreams were just all happiness. It was great. Anyway, I didn't like how it really affected my mind. I lost my memory. I could be sitting next to my best friend and not know her name. And I thought, I have to get off these antidepressants. And so the family doctor had suggested that I go see a counselor. And so I went in to talk to her, and she said, well, all you really need to do is just go out with your girlfriends and just talk about stuff. You're going to feel a lot better. But she didn't understand that with 4 kids under the age of 4, you can't go out and hang out with your girlfriends. But it's interesting. Now I do have a couple groups of friends that I hang out with and play volleyball with and maybe go out for supper with. But it's just the feeling is so much better than it is with the antidepressant trying to alter your mind. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, very much so. So there's a great psychiatrist who points out that we're always talking about the physiological taxation of childbirth. And we always sort of tie postpartum depression exclusively to that. And of course, it is exhausting. It's brutal physically. But there's an awful lot of personal change and personal challenge that comes with every newborn child. And to simply treat postpartum depression as though it's some kind of biological glitch, instead of what it often is, which is a full human response, physical and mental, to one of the greatest challenges human life has to offer, which is being a mother. If we appreciate the more holistic experience, we can give a more holistic treatment.
I want to be careful, though, that because there are some people that do have serious depression. And you don't mean to say that just go out, have a drink, get a walk, that sometimes people do need more help, right?
Absolutely. Again, you don't want to focus exclusively on the soul, and you don't want to focus exclusively on the body. You want to have both because we are both.
And very quickly, because we only have another minute, but I wanted to get into that you said that sorrow can actually enhance joy. Now, I know that's a big question in just a short time, but we're talking about depression. Explain that a little bit. How can sorrow enhance joy?
Yeah, well, just very quickly, by contrast, we human beings are very poor at appreciating anything unless we have something to contrast it with. And that's why often the people who come, for instance, from the poorest backgrounds seem to be most suffused with a joyful gratitude. And so every opportunity of suffering brings with it all kinds of potential for growth, but actually joy is one of those opportunities.
Thank you so much for joining us. We could have gone on a lot longer, but it's probably good for you because I don't think you'll be able to get out of the snow. If you stay there much longer, you better get your car started. Thank you for joining us, John Mark Miravalli, and I'm going to talk with people about how they can get his book locally too. Thanks.
Thank you all so much. God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay
God
safe and warm.
bless.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so for people still with us, you can buy his book at the Rainbow Shop. You can get it online too, but that's what I want to talk to you about. Instead of going online, I would really like to see you, the local businesses would like to see you buying some of your gifts and shopping locally, because not only have they been hit hard by COVID, but more and more people are shopping online. And bookstores, let me give that email up again. If you want to enter a contest to possibly be chosen to win one of his books, Another View at becknews.com. Enter to win one of the books, and then if we contact you, you can pick it up at the Rainbow Shop Parables Christian Bookstore in Bismarck. We'll let you know. And if you don't win, there are many specials. I talked to the owner just yesterday, Matt Mitzel, and he says we have so many specials. You can come in and pick up a flyer. And our businesses need your support. We take them for granted. You know, we like these places to be open. We want to have a bookstore. But this year with COVID, there weren't gatherings for baptisms and confirmations and weddings. So guess what? They took a hit. They took a real hard hit, and so did a lot of our businesses. And so instead of going online, and I think maybe you might feel good. It's good for depression to get outside, get some fresh air, and do a little shopping. So I really encourage you to support our local businesses.
I knew I could go shopping.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's an act
That's
of
it.
charity,
Yes.
Mary. Now it's charity. Now
Okay.
we're talking.
Well, I can buy for others.
There you go. Your personal shopper right here.
Yeah.
My own personal shopper.
Single-handedly supporting Bismarck businesses in Mandan. Yeah. So okay. When we come back, we're going to have the lighter side on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Howdy, folks. It's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Boss and Breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef in all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here were terrific. We enjoy it.
They say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. At OK Tire, we're here to keep you going. From Firestone tires and replacements to retreads and even Firestone tracks, we have you covered. Our certified Firestone experts are ready to get you back up and running, no matter if you're on site or in the field, saving you time and money. OK Tire, we keep the tough going.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we just had a delightful conversation with an author stuck in a snowstorm in Maryland.
Better him than us.
Did Zoom with us from his car on his laptop. And he talked about, and his book is titled How to Feel Good and How Not to, and you can pick up a copy at the Rainbow Shop. But now we're going to go to the lighter side. And this is, this is how to win, or enter the contest anyway. Hopefully you'll win. Another view at becknews.com.
And that's the Rainbow Shop is in Bismarck. For those of you watching all over the state, it's in Bismarck.
Yep, Rainbow Shop, Parables Shop, Christian Bookstore in Bismarck. And we're going to go to a lighter view right now because I love this video. It's a little boy, and it's from Ireland. So I'm Irish, and maybe that's why I love it so much. Take a look.
Affected as COVID-19 continues to cause restrictions across.
Mom, is he still coming this year?
Of course he is.
Really, Dad?
He's coming.
Did you get the one he likes?
Of course I did.
These are his favorites. Is he definitely coming?
You just gotta believe.
Are you sure?
He's coming.
Granddad!
Happy Christmas, Connor.
I knew you'd come.
I didn't know I was going to need tissues.
Even though I saw it and I know it was coming, I thought, okay, don't cry. I just love it so much. It was this granddad that was coming. And so not only am I Irish, but I'm a grandmother too. So I love it. How did you guys like it?
I can't talk right now.
It takes me right to my own grandkids, and it's so much fun when you see them and haven't seen them for a little bit, and they come running up and jump into your arms. There's not a better feeling out there.
Yeah, I understand. I don't have grandkids yet, but and hopefully not for a while. Kids, right? But it's very endearing, and it really puts the place. It's family that matters. It's not Santa Claus. It's not the presents, and that's another thing to think about too. Some kids, they don't have Santa coming into their house. And they think, well, was I bad? Why did someone get an iPhone and I didn't get anything? And so we really have to be careful on our Santa gifts. That's my personal opinion. But there are those kids out there that have nothing and don't have a granddad to come over and help them either. So that part, we just have to remember everybody during this season.
Perspective is everything.
And especially, I think, now during COVID, and so many have had so much disrupted in their life. And these kids, can there be some consistency with Christmas? We don't even know where that goes this year, but hopefully there will be more normalcy than there has been in school and things like that for them. But, all the time at home versus being involved in their activities and whatnot. And for some of them, that's been wonderful. For others, not so much. And so, like you said, I think this season of giving and caring, I think we really need to be mindful of all those people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's about time with our loved ones. When I was raising a family, and I did that for a while because we have 10 kids, so it was the story that didn't end for a while, but loved it. A lot of my friends complained that their parents or their in-laws were sending too many presents at Christmas. And they would say, don't send so much. And you know what? The presents aren't what matter. It's sitting down and playing cards with your grandchild, or just spending that time and the hugs. That's what's important. So we're at the end here, so does anybody have any parting shots before we go?
Well, I just think one thing that you said, and I'm just going to try and do quickly, but for my kids, I remember we have talked now that they're older. There were times they didn't want to go to their cousin's place. They wanted to stay in town with their friends and all that, especially junior high, you know, you get into all the stuff. And now we look back and it's like, so what did you get for your, 8-year-old or your 10-year-old Christmas present? Well, they don't remember, but they remember that Christmas with their cousins and how much fun they had. And I think that's important to make those memories.
Yeah, good point. You don't remember the presents, you remember the people.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think it's good that we teach the young children when their time comes to be the Santa, that they have the opportunity to learn how to give and to give without expecting anything in return, because that's kind of what the Lord does for us, and that's kind of what Santa does for us. So the kids need to learn.
Right. And I just want to say, we talked a little bit about depression earlier, and it's not a funny thing. I want those young mothers that are out there that have kids right now, I just want to say the days are long, but the time is short. My baby girl is graduating college on Friday, and you just don't think it's ever going to get there. And we're here. So just enjoy every moment and ask for help if you need it.
Yes, perfect, Mary. I'm so glad you said that. Thank you for joining us today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Electoral College on Ladies of Another View on Beck.